Well, it's been an outstanding couple of days here in Southern California as the New Orleans Saints get set to take on the Los Angeles Chargers in preseason game number 2. This is the Saints preview show right here on CST. John DeShazer, Todd Graffagnini, JD, game 2 of the preseason. So we put the Minnesota game behind us, and you see what happens now as far as improvement from game 1 to game 2. Sean Payton mentioned that we're going to see a little bit more of the ones. Who those guys are, that still remain to be seen.
Yeah, you want to see exactly who's out there working, because there are things that obviously they want to see improved upon after that preseason opener against the Vikings. The run defense was not particularly great. They allowed 8.5 yards per play, which is alarming. And I don't care if you're 1s, 2s, or 3s out there, you want the technique to be better than that. You don't want teams to be running up and down the field on you defensively. So a lot of things that they felt like they had to clean up on, and you get a chance to see if those things indeed were cleaned up on.
Yeah, and you don't know how it's going to translate into the game, but as far as practice goes, I thought the Saints showed pretty stout run defense, especially in practice number 2, and that's going to be something that they're really going to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the gap control, the pad level, as you hear Sean Payton talk about all the time, but that's assignment football, and that's technique football, and those were the things that were lacking in that preseason opener. And if you recall, after we saw that game and talked about it, we said these are all correctable things. Mental errors more so than physical, and even the physical errors were guys, just being out of position, things that can be corrected. So they believe they've gotten to the point where they've corrected many of those things.
Yeah, health-wise too, it was great to see Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara back on the practice field for practice number 2. Will they play? We'll see. Again, we don't know who is going to play, who's going to start, but whoever is in there is going to get a lot more time. But it looks like they're about as healthy as they've been in a while.
Yeah, it's good to get guys back on the field. Now, veterans like Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, not necessarily, they don't need the work. They know the offense. They're pretty good at it, as we know already. But the younger guys, to get them back on the field, whether it's Keith Kirkwood in a limited capacity, or whether it's Emmanuel Butler now getting back into the swing of things in practice, you need to get those guys back on the field because they need those reps. They're extremely valuable to players like that.
Well, here's head coach Sean Payton on the improvement he wants to see from game 1 to game 2.
Well, I think with each group, it depends. Obviously we're going to, play our ones a little bit longer into this game like we typically do. And, you're wanting to see some of the mistakes cleaned up from a week ago.
Well, defensive end Cam Jordan has his thoughts on what he expects to see as far as improvement from game 1 to game 2.
Growth. You're always looking for that step forward. You talk about game 1 and game 2, you're looking for pressures on quarterback, you're looking for a turnover on defense, and you're always looking for that next step forward. So whatever that is for us, that's how we got to get better at.
Let's go back to defensive end Cam Jordan, who's an all-pro, but he's always looking to get better, and he talks about practicing against the Chargers with the pads on.
Ability to go against a team that is a high-caliber team. This is a team that went to the playoffs last year. You're going against a defense that has been anchoring at least the strength of their team. They're against their offense. You're going to go against one of the top gunslingers in the league. This is time to sharpen all your tools, know exactly what you have, and be able to go 2 days competition periods where things can be stretched. It makes you realize what you have, what you need to work on, and emphasizes exactly what we have to focus on to be better.
Well, JD, cornerback Marshon Lattimore is having an outstanding camp. Of course, he was in a red jersey at the beginning of the week, but he has participated fully since coming out to the West Coast. He has had blanket coverage on the deep balls that we have seen. There's been nothing that's gotten through him, and it's good to see him playing in nearly top form.
Yeah, Marshon admittedly he dipped in production last year, and maybe expected. He goes from NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year to now having a pretty good year, but it wasn't the year that he had as a rookie. He wants to get back to that form, obviously, but he wants to be better than that.
Well, here's cornerback Marshon Lattimore on the business-like approach he's taken to this training camp.
This year, like last year, start off slow, okay. It happens at corner, but I don't want to start slow. I don't want to play slow at all. I want to have every season like my rookie season times 10. So, I just got to come with a better mindset, and I did, do that. Especially, I'm glad we got Mike back. That's great work right there. And Ted, all the receivers just coming along, and I just been competing. That's all I could do. Just compete, just raise my game and raise everybody else's game around me.
When we return to the New Orleans Saints preview show right here on CST, John DeShazier goes one-on-one with rookie wide receiver Emmanuel Butler.
Welcome back to the Saints training camp show here on CST, and we're with Saints rookie receiver Emmanuel Butler. Emmanuel, you started out this camp really fast, had a little bit of an injury setback. Now you're back into the mix of things, but during that period you were out, what were the things that you were working on, and what were the things that were going through your mind?
There was a lot of different things going through my mind. Of course, I'm a rookie player, and having to deal with some of the stuff that I was dealing with, it was a little bit tough. But I tried to just stay strong in my faith, stay focused, make sure that I could get in the playbook as much as I can, because I had a lot of time not practicing and stuff. So tried to make sure that I could get in the playbook, stay in my playbook, so that when I got back out here, I was ready to go.
We know that the mental reps can be, you try to do it, but it's difficult to replicate getting out there on the field. So how did you hold up in that area?
Just watching film, make sure that I'm staying in my playbook. That's really all that I could do in order to take those mental reps. So watching film as much as I could, like I said, in practice, getting with my coaches a little bit after, and then just staying in my playbook, making sure I know my alignment, my assignment, and everything that I need to do when I'm out here.
We know that you said you were a guy who wanted to kind of stay grounded when everything was happening real fast and you were getting a lot of hype early. Did the injury, I guess, help in that aspect? I know you probably were able to do so anyway, but obviously a setback like that can kind of, put you down if you were up.
I feel like it definitely helped me mature a little more. I'm somebody that believes that everything happens for a reason. I believe that God takes and puts you through certain situations because he's trying to teach you something. He wants to bring you through something. He wants you to learn something. You know what I mean? So I feel like that opportunity. It was a very short time, but throughout that entire time that I was out, I was able to focus. I was able to get stronger in my faith and get closer to God. And I feel like now that I'm back, I'm even more mature than I was before I left.
You stepped on the practice field and didn't look like you had skipped a beat. We saw some completions out there, some of the things that we have come to expect from you. Did you feel pretty much yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I felt really good. Like I said, God is amazing. To be out here, to be back to 100, to feel healthy, to feel like I am, and to be able to go out here and compete with my teammates, with my family, it's amazing. God is amazing.
When the Saints ask you to come here as an undrafted rookie, and they've got a great reputation with undrafted rookies, guys that they give an opportunity, was that something that went through your mind, or did you look at the position and say, you know what, I might be able to fit in here?
No, most definitely. I know that Coach Payton is someone that gives guys like myself a chance. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone that comes through this door, that walks through this door, that straps up those cleats and straps up those pads, everybody has a fair opportunity, to step on the field and make plays. And I felt like this would be a great fit for me, and it turned out to work in my favor.
We've heard your story from high school. They felt like you weren't, I guess, a prototypical college receiver, and that's how you end up at Northern Arizona.
Yes,
but now do you feel like, or do you carry a chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, most definitely. As I said before, I felt like it's something where my whole life, I've been doubted and I've been looked over, and it's something that I kind of enjoy. I enjoy the fact that people doubt my abilities on the field. I enjoy the fact that I was overlooked. I feel like it's made me work so much harder. It's taught me a lot. Taught me how to be humble and keep my head down and just continue working.
Now, we also heard that you have a fantastic role model. Saints fans will know this guy, Marcus Colston. Have you looked at some of his film? What are some of the things I guess he does that you've tried to incorporate or tried to replicate?
He's a big body receiver like myself. Knows how to play through contact. Knows how to attack the football. Was a great route runner. Knew how to create separation, even though he wasn't one of the fastest guys. I feel like we're very comparable in a lot of those aspects, and I try to watch as much of his film as I can. And learn from as much as I can, but that's what I really took from him so far.
Got some veterans in this locker room also. Well, I guess the most veteran guys being Ted Ginn Jr. and also Michael Thomas. Are those guys helping you in terms of picking their brains and answering your questions for this team?
Yes, sir. Most definitely. They're helping me both on and off the field, just how to be a player, how to be a professional. They're helping me with everything. On the field, just little details to make me a better player, like coming back to the ball, you know what I mean? Making sure I'm attacking the ball, not waiting for it. Just everything, little things. Those guys are very helpful, and I appreciate them a lot.
All right, that's Emmanuel Butler, continuing to make noise here in New Orleans Saints training camp, and we will be back after this break.
Final segment of the show, New Orleans Saints preview show right here on CST. We're getting set for preseason action, New Orleans Saints versus the Los Angeles Chargers. John DeShazer, Todd Graffagnini here. JD, what are we looking for on Sunday? I can tell you what I'm looking for personally, how wide receiver Emmanuel Butler is going to play. He should log a lot of time, especially if Michael Thomas, what his time frame is going to be, how much he plays. But Butler, we've seen him in practice here in Los Angeles, work with the ones. I think it's going to be a huge day for Butler. JD, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for Marcus Davenport, the second-year defensive end. Not that he needs to stand out. Again, we know, I think we have a pretty good idea of what he can do, but you do want to see some flash plays from here during this preseason. He's being counted on a lot at that right defensive end slot. No, there's no Alex Okafor on this team again. And Alex Okafor was extremely productive for this team for a couple of seasons. Marcus Davenport is in that position for a reason. They traded up to get him in the first round, gave up a lot of freight to get him. So let's see him get out there and put it on the field.
All right, should be a whole lot of fun. The practices are complete. The walkthrough is done. It's now time for preseason football. We'll have it for you on CBS, 3 o'clock, your New Orleans Saints against the Los Angeles Chargers. This has been New Orleans Saints preview show. John DeShazer, Todd Graffagnini. Enjoy the ball game, everybody, and who dat?